Welcome everyone to Artist Talk with Zach Curtis. This is a Secrets of the Studio event with Cheryl Barill, and I will let her take it away.
So thank you for inviting me to sit here with Zach. It's always interesting to do. It's a nice opportunity to get to know more artists. I'm actually surprised that we haven't bumped into each other out and about before.
I'm sure we've been at certain events at the same time.
Maybe, yeah. So usually I ask the audience how many people in the audience are artists, and so with a show of hand, just so I have an idea. You are not an artist, or you are an artist and you deny it?
I do some cartooning. I'm a horrible drawer. I wish I was better. I'm very envious of people who can do that.
Okay. I was saying, there's always somebody who denies being an artist, and they're typically sitting like over here. So I don't think that's been you in the past, but so I asked that question because the whole concept of my Secrets of the Studio comes about because there's so many people who don't come to opening receptions or artist talks because they feel uncomfortable. They feel unwelcome. They feel like they're intruding. And these are things that people have told me. I have another business, and I'll ask, well, why don't you come, meet me there, blah, 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 blah. And they say, I'm afraid I'm going to ask something stupid. And so then, over time, doing these talks as artist talks with other artists or a mixed group, there's always something very interesting that comes about in the process of talking about the things that you, as an artist, wouldn't even think to talk about with somebody else. And those are the things that help someone who's not an artist engage, or someone who is an artist also engage, because then you get to start thinking and getting to know the artist and how they think and what's important, and a few other goodies. So Zach has agreed graciously to have me ask him a bunch of questions that get, maybe really nosy or personal.
Sure.
And that's kind of what makes it fun. If it's something that is really something he doesn't want to share right now, because sometimes as an artist you have something that is a process you're exploring and you want more time to massage it and make it more yours before you share it with anybody else. So that's a thing that happens too in the creative process. So if you were to describe your whole body of work, where would you start?
I don't know if I would try to describe my whole body of work. That's like, I don't know, that's like, because it changes a lot, I can't say, I guess, like, if I could say, like, right now, like, I would describe it as like moment capturing or time capsuling or just capturing in some way, be it it's usually like a person, place, or thing that I'm trying to capture, or it can be like a feeling. But even with this show, everything was more so about capturing like a moment in time that was like a small little like pocket of perfect, what I was calling it, kind of.
I like that.
Yeah, it was just meant to capture small little moments between friends and just little small happenstances that would occur on the road. And so I guess right now that's what I would describe my work as. But I mean, if we had the same show in a year from now and you ask me the same question, it's probably going to change.
Because we grow.
Mm-hmm.
So the boots caught my eye, and now as you're saying, like, on the road, and I don't know if this is like something that you even meant to build as a connection, but so I see your work as a lot of storytelling, and then the boots with the flowers tell a very different story, but kind of symbolize on the road. Is that accidental, or how do you come to tie those together?
Yeah.
Given this chance right now to think about it a little bit.
Yeah, so like with the boots, with the shoes, with any of that stuff, I get like similar questions like that a lot. What does it mean, or like what's the significance, or just like what's it about really? And I think when I first started doing shoes or boots or anything, it started as kind of one thing, like just kind of purely aesthetic, kind of like touching on like street culture type of energy a little bit. But after doing it a few times, it just kind of started slowly evolving a little bit with each time. And I think it's intersecting like a really cool couple different angles, like, working class, like middle class type of representation, or there's like with the Timberlands, it's like more so hip hop. It's meant to signify, like that gritty kind of New York energy that brought about graffiti. It's other times it can be more so about I guess capturing an area. Like for example, I did a piece in Pennsylvania that was using the work boots, but the work boots were more so just kind of like the base to build off of, because then I took like things from that small town Pennsylvania I was painting in, and I like kind of stacked them on top of the boots and created this still life. The boots, the shoes themselves, the significance or why I'm painting them, it's kind of like my practice. There's many different reasons. I think the main ones are just like everyday type of person, capturing that. I think street culture vibes, like hip hop and graffiti, align with it as well. I think it's just pretty to look at too sometimes. I don't know if art always has to have some form of like big, prolific or a profound meaning. Sometimes I think it can just be pretty.
I like that. I'm going to jump in on that. So like, there are people who will argue, against the aesthetic.
Mm-hmm.
And I always take the argument for the aesthetic, because like, especially maybe even more so in today's world, like we need to have something that we can get lost in and enjoy the beauty of it. You paint in acrylic?
Yeah.
Is that, has that always been your medium?
No. When I first started, before I started painting, I just kind of drew my whole life, and then I picked up colored pencils, and I tried to make like art, I guess, in a similar scale to this when I was first starting out, with just exclusively Prismacolor colored pencils.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess I was a little bit naive, or just like I didn't know what I was doing. I just thought, like, oh, I could do this. I can do everything that my brain wants to do with these tools. And I learned pretty quickly that wasn't the case. And then it kind of just pushed me into something different. The next would have been, it was acrylic paint, and it was really sloppy, really hard to control for a while. And then I like kind of figured it out a little bit, and then I jumped into spray paint, and that kind of helped me as well. And just kind of bouncing back and forth between spray paint and acrylic paint. It's got me much more comfortable with brush and with paint. And I haven't touched colored pencils in like a decade now. So I'm like, it's just been exclusively acrylic paint and spray paint. Yeah.
So are you combining spray paint with your acrylic work?
On the larger scale stuff, sometimes. A lot of the times, though, especially in this show, it was almost all brush. I would say probably, or I mean, minus the drawings, I would say it's probably like 90-95% brush. Like backgrounds, maybe put in with spray paint or something, small effects.
So when you're working, there's like so many different ways to approach the work. Do you work all over the canvas all at once, or are you addressing a particular area and then moving to the next to build it that way? What's your process for building the work?
I guess that depends on where my head's at in the week. Sometimes it's very like just manic and ADHD, just bouncing all over. What's exciting me in the moment, I'll paint right then and there, and I'll just kind of screw myself in the long run. I'll just put all the boring and tedious stuff towards the last bit of the painting, and then I'll just be like dragging my feet through it all, just trying to get through the stuff I put towards the end that I didn't want to do. I would say my walls and my canvas are very much like that, except for actually this piece behind me over here, and then this one. I actually had to work kind of like a printer because there's so much going on, and I sketch with watercolored pencils, and like just trying to paint and just touching my palm, and like it would just smear it. And there's a couple areas where I had to re-sketch because I had completely erased the sketch lines with my hand. So I learned I had to kind of like work like a printer, just kind of.
some people use like parchment paper or tracing paper
Yeah.
to put underneath the hand.
Yeah.
So, but it's interesting, like you're self-taught?
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, I took 5 drawing lessons when I was like 7 years old at a framing shop in Livonia. My parents got it for me so I could, I think it was just like free labor basically. They wanted, because my sister was being born, and they had me do like all the drawings for her room. And so I think they were trying to like just give them like a quick little drawing lessons. We'll get to, I drew Thumper from Bambi, and I drew some Pokemon. I drew a couple other things, but yeah.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah, that's where it started.
So you started really young, having
Yeah.
just an interest?
I mean, I don't remember when I first started, actually.
Yeah.
My grandma got me into the drawing and the painting. She'd give me like watercolors and stuff. Our main thing was she would cook, and then I would sit in the kitchen, and it's a very vivid memory. I've spoke about it before, and other times where it's just like I have this exact memory. I'm like looking down right now. I can see the yellow and ochre and like these brown linoleum floor patterns in the kitchen. I can smell and hear the onions like sizzling like right now as we're talking. And that was our routine. She would cook and I would paint, and that's kind of where it started.
That's fun. I think a lot of us start that way, just at the kitchen table, you know. So, since I'm just getting to know you, also there's an interesting use of light that I see in some of your work, most of your work. Is that something like when you have an image, are you working from an image?
Yeah.
Okay.
I would say almost all of these, minus the big shoes or boots, all of these were done either from having the drawing on site and just kind of like staring and drawing, or taking a photo with my phone,
taking it back to,
and then painting it in the studio. Yeah.
So are the boot ones set up as still life?
Yeah, I mean, so like the big shoes, these types of things, they are actual. Like those were my boots. Those are my shoes. I have them physically in my studio, and I set up the flowers. Before, when I first started out, I would use fake flowers. I just go like Hobby Lobby or Joann Fabrics, and RIP Joann Fabrics. But I would go and just set them that way. But now I go to like florists, and I kind of like tell them about the project. I like going to different florists each time and kind of like picking out my florist based on just like, I don't know, their vibe, I guess, and just like, oh, you'll make a really cool one, or you maybe you won't. I'm not going to give you my shoot, you know. And then I just kind of I like to see what each different florist, how their arrangements vary each time, I guess. I don't go back to the same florist.
And then something about that will jumpstart your inspiration.
Yeah. Sometimes, sometimes I get it back from them, and I go home and I take them all out and I rearrange them myself. But I know it's just like it's become a fun like little wild card portion of the process for these specific paintings, because it's like they all the same, like the same composition, same concept, like everything. So it's fun to kind of just find little tiny things throughout the process to change up or to vary, just to see how it would look different in the end. I like having that
compositional excitement.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just yeah, it gets boring. It's not that it gets boring. It's just it's the same thing every time. So I just like doing small little things to switch it up for me. I was really obsessed with this particular composition for when I first started doing it, a good year, and now it's like less. I do less of that, but it's still fun to look back. And
so when you say this composition, the boots with
like the boots,
flowers,
like the very specific like boots or shoes, like kind of just like spread out like this. It was really that type of positioning stems from just like me. It's just meant to say like, this is me. This is where I stand. This is who I am. It's meant to just a very simple statement of like, Zach was here, or just this is me, and it's less about like you know, trying to be cool or like stage myself. Anyway, it's just like, you know, this is me. Take it or leave it.
I like that. So how do the flowers relate then? Again, is that just aesthetic or?
It can range. I would say for this painting, the flower is a little bit more aesthetic. But for an example, like one that's not aesthetic with the flower choice, I did a mural in Miami in a neighborhood that was predominantly Cuban population, and so I took red, white, and blue flowers and I arranged the bouquet in a specific way that actually like formed the Cuban flag in the bouquet. So they had like a triangle. I arranged the certain colored flags to make the triangle, and then I used the blue and white stripes going across. So sometimes it's very deliberate in how I arrange it. Sometimes it's just
some symbolism.
Sometimes the symbolism is in the shoes. Sometimes it's in the positioning. Sometimes it's other variables like that. But the flowers can be deliberate. They can have meaning, but let's say maybe half of the time it's just more so to deliver color, to like pop, to bring attention.
Well, that's a fun combination. There's a painting here with the Oriental lanterns. They kind of stand out as a different, and you travel quite a bit?
A little bit more in these past few years, yeah, I would say so.
And then what happens to you while you're traveling? And was that something that came about, like a photo you took or something you walked past, and the composition of it is beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, very strong and welcoming at the same time.
Yeah. So in the beginning, let's see, shoot, I think in the beginning of 2024, I spent 2 months in Taiwan, and I was painting a mural with my friend Karen, and we collaborated together. And it's the largest painted mural in the entire country. And so we spent a lot of time there, and mainly our routine was like, we'd paint in a city called Taiyuan. Taiyuan, pronunciation's a little messy, but we'd paint there Monday through Friday, and then the weekend we would take a train into Taipei. It was only like a 40-minute train ride, and we would spend the weekend in just a hotel downtown and just experiencing the city and going to all these night markets and these museums and like cool local food spots and things. This was just one of the weekends in Taipei. We were going from it was a restaurant that was like it was bathroom themed. Like they served your like noodles or something in a toilet bowl. It was really weird and stupid and goofy, but it was like fun. I don't know. We went there, and then this was after that. We were walking, just kind of exploring the city. It was just like a little alleyway we just kind of came across. There wasn't anything special or particular. It's just I really liked that corner, and in the distance in the alley you can actually see there's a girl and an older woman. That's Karen's mom and Karen, and then Karen's fiance Nick is a little bit further into the alley. But so they're in there, and actually in this painting, I'm gonna get up off my chair. But in this painting, they're actually right here too. This is Karen's mom and dad, and this is Karen and Nick as well. So it's just little snapshots of, well, that's what I was saying earlier, just little capturing moments or time capsuling. It's just like a little.
So even just like the idea of like being out and about and shooting off a whole bunch of photos. Mm-hmm. Like I can imagine sometimes you look at them as you're taking them and say like, oh, this will be a good one.
Oh,
or yeah. And you kind of know it's like it tickles you already how you're gonna do it.
Yeah, definitely. I do that all the time. I favorite them. They have a little thing in my phone app, which just like favorite, and it sets it off into a different album. I have like a really big favorited album. A lot of the times I'll favorite it. I'm like, oh, this is gonna be a great painting, and then I get it onto the canvas or I get it onto the wall. It's like, oh, this is crap. Like this is not gonna work out the way I thought it was. And sometimes I'm like, it's kind of like, I don't know, but then I put it on the canvas or the wall, and I'm like, wow, this is really it.
Okay, so this piece of it, you said sometimes when you're working, you work on the part that you feel most excited about, and then you have the rest of the painting. So it's interesting because like my own experience is like the beginning is always the most exciting, and the last final brush strokes are the most exciting. And I look at like everything in between as problem solving, and it's like the the more I do that, the more I know, like, I know I'm going to figure it out.
Mhm.
You know, the answer is going to come to me. So when you bump into like that, like, oh, this one's just not working out, how do you manage yourself and what decisions do you make around that? Because that happens to all artists. All artists who are honest will hit a point where the thing that they're doing or become very self-critical, you know, like, oh, it's not coming out the way I want it to. So then you have a decision to make that's intentional and very personal. So tell us a little bit about that part of your process, if you will.
Yeah, of course. So when I'm deciding on whether or not, like, to paint a piece, you know, I'm deciding on the design and figuring that part out. I spend a lot of energy and time on that process. So most of the time, if there's a design that makes it through like the whole process of me kind of like tweaking and fine tuning and changing or editing, if it's made it past that whole process, it's generally like something that I'm like, okay, this is happening, it's gonna work. And if I get to that point where I'm like kind of like, oh, like this isn't it, or this is not working, or I'm not feeling it, I actually get a little bit of an excitement because I don't know, it might be just me. I don't know if any other artists have experienced this, but I feel like in sometimes the pieces that I create where I'm like just the most excited about and the most enthusiastic about, it does seem like they get the least traction or the least amount of reaction or attention. And the pieces that I'm like kind of like, oh, this is not good, this is not great, oh, this is not my best one. You know, the ones that I'm very kind of critical on or just don't really like that much, they always seem to just do the best. Everyone, the
In
best
terms of people responding?
responding, in terms of people responding, but also to the response in itself is always like, oh, it's high praise usually. And it's like kind of like this, maybe it's in my head, maybe I'm just crazy, but it's something that I swear I've noticed. And so
that's probably true.
And yeah, so if
so sometimes I don't know, food for thought. Like, is it looser when it feels like it's not working, or is it tighter?
No,
You know what I mean?
Generally, it's more so all just about like this doesn't look right. There's something about it's not clicking with me. But I always what I do is like if I feel that way, I do feel a little bit of excitement. I do feel a little sick. I always know that it's going to work out at the end of the day because you know I've put a million hours into this and I've worked hard to get to the point where my hands can somewhat keep up with my brain. And so like I know like I'm be able to execute it fine. So I'm just like I got to push through it. You hate it right now, but just keep going and something will change. And it generally does. Like, you know, in the last like day or the last few hours of a piece, it will end up just like randomly clicking.
Yeah.
And that's always really.
Is that like you find the flow of it, or just?
Most of the time, it's like
there's like nothing else to resolve. It's done.
It's just like a handful of really tiny, small add-ons or little details that you've added in at the end, or like the highlights, or just the really small, minute things that kind of I guess kind of compound and.
But those minute things, sometimes I think of them as like the final jewel.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know, and it's like if you take out like those couple little things, throws the whole thing off. And it can be something that seems so trivial to you, but it's a color, it's a brushstroke, it's a placement, something that locks it in.
Yeah, definitely.
Is there something in here that you struggled with that way? Or?
I'm sure I can look around and see something. Let me 1 second. So that the pink landscape from Shawinigan in Quebec. I've never painted, I guess, like a landscape that was not just landscape colors, you know, to change the colors in the water and everything to this pink. There's certain colors like pinks and like really neon and like these bright high chroma colors that really only exist in a digital realm and don't actually exist in like a physical, like you can't really find the pigment of all these different neon pinks that I needed for this. And so it was really, really difficult because you end up having to go like the opposite direction using just nothing but really muted colors, disguised as kind of like pinks, disguised as these really high chroma pinks. And I think it took me a while to figure that out, and it just looked really like a jumbled mess until like the last moment when I was like it finally came together.
Sometimes I think that's like the growth trajectory. You know, when we have an idea and we're and it's something new, and we have an idea, but we don't have all the solutions yet.
Mm-hmm.
So then it's like you're working to find those solutions. Is that a palette you think you'd want to work more in and explore it?
I like the pink and blue color combo a lot. I don't know if I would play with this whole like I was just because like I was just kind of like trying to lean on like an alien world type of feeling, whereas everything looks right and everything looks like it should be right, but there's just something a little off, and that's kind of how I felt in Quebec. And so I wanted to just kind of like reflect off that, and I like the pink and the blue, but I'm not sure if I would do it in a landscape form next time. Yeah, that's probably what I would say.
How do your ideas come to you? Is it more visual? Is it more intellectual?
It's like right here and like a little bit here. Like it just is a thing that is here. And it's like I see an image or I have an idea. I'm like, oh, that's it. It just tugs. Like I don't know what to. It's just it's like an instinct, I guess, a lot of times. And then sometimes it's probably more so like necessity or like deadlines exist and are the bane of my existence, and they haunt me. And so sometimes a lot of my ideas just kind of come from having one day to figure it out, and just like throwing it together, and then really kind of relying on, I guess, my skills to actually make it into a piece of art. So I guess some of my ideas come from just like panic. Some of my ideas come from instinct. Some of my ideas come from like other people, external factors like my friends or the traveling, and just like the moments that feel like anytime I have a moment where I'm like, dang, I wish I had a camera. Because like I'm terrible at taking photos. Anytime I go somewhere cool or do something really awesome, I'm never taking photos, never taking videos, because I'll just get stuck in it and I won't experience it.
Yeah.
And so like I always leave these types of really awesome places really little bummed because I didn't take enough photos. And honestly, I don't even remember where I was going with this, but it's
That's
just,
okay.
it's just
That's okay.
yeah, I'm just rambling at this point.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's really just like these little moments that I end up like, I don't know why they call to me or why they mean so much to me in the moment, but then I end up painting it and I'm like thinking, reflecting, all this stuff. And then sometimes it does kind of reveal itself to me later on, just through reflection and through just like sitting with it. But so I guess like my heart will like pick up on stuff faster than my brain will. My brain lags a little bit, I think. And so that's where I think most of my ideas come from, just like that instinctual, just like that, do that.
Yeah. I think when an artist has the connection to themselves, to be able to paint from the gut, and of course, like the more and more experience you have, the more you can match the gut to like, oh, there, I said it. And then that part of the journey, like when you want it to come out a certain way, let's say you're not on a timeline and you're painting it really for yourself, your own exploration. Like when you are done with a piece, do you realize it in the moment, like, aha, that's it? Or do you sit with it a while?
I have this tendency to fill. So say you give me 10 days to paint a painting that's going to take like anywhere from 2 to 4 days. Like you give me more than enough time. I have this tendency to fill the time. So if you tell me this 100-foot long by 30-foot tall painting needs to be done in 3 weeks, and then the next painting I do, you tell me this the same wall, but this one needs to be done in 7 days. I will get both done in the same. I'll get you give me 10 days, it's going to take 10 days. You give me 7 days, it's going to take 7. You give me 1, it's going to take 1. I have this tendency to fill the time. So if I get 95% done with a wall and I still have a lot more time left, my brain will like nitpick and create problems that don't even need to be solved, create problems that don't even exist.
Okay.
It will just decide, okay, this is how much time we have to dedicate to it, and that's just that.
Well, it sounds like that's the difference between painting from the gut and painting from the head.
Maybe.
That's what I'm picking. I could be wrong, but
Yeah.
the way I envision it, like if you have this giant wall that you have to fill and you know you've got to get it done, you're less the observer because you know what you're doing. You're skilled enough. You've done it. Are you spray painting or brushing for a mural like that?
Spray painting.
Spray painting.
Yeah.
So you grab your can and you like go at it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Do you ever use both hands at the same time?
I have, yeah.
I knew that.
Yeah.
So if you're frenetic, you're gonna like just your whole body's in it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely.
Exhausted when you're done.
Yeah, but I've gotten pretty much I'm okay with operating on exhaustion. I've gotten really good at like just budgeting like my free days. Like I've gotten really good at moving things around to the point where I can get my rest and I get my 8 hours in one way or the other. But I've gotten good at managing time, I think, to optimize how much work I get done, but still making sure I take some time for myself, because I've seen a lot of artists burn out just nonstop foot pedal to metal.
Yeah. What's your favorite process?
Favorite process?
Yeah, like your wall murals or drawings or...
Favorite process for murals lately has been, so these shoes here that are on these pedestals, I've been taking these shoes and then running around to all my friends here in Michigan or wherever the mural is going to be. So the Timberlands were in Bushwick in Brooklyn. One half of the shoes, it's all artists from Detroit. The other half's all artists from Brooklyn. And so I give them paint markers and I'm like, hey, just whatever you want to do, draw on these shoes right now. Give me something. It can be just sign it. It can be a whole piece. It can be graffiti. It can be anything you want. And then I snap the photo. I go and I paint it. And with those types of paintings, it's the main message is, this is me. This is who I am. This is where I stood. And these are the people I take with me everywhere I go. Wow. And so that is by far my favorite process, my favorite message, my favorite everything that I'm doing right now, I think, because it's very personal and everyone can relate to it. They all got friends that they care about, and it's just cool to look at too. But as far as canvas go, I think my favorite process has been like the snapping photos, just out of just like, oh, this is cool, and then reviewing them later and then figuring out which ones I want to paint. So that's my favorite canvas process, I think. Just 100% original, like drawn from life, pulled out from life. There's no Google images. There's no reference images that are like stock photos or anything like that. It's just my experience.
Nice.
And it's us. It's me.
How long have you been doing it full time?
Since COVID. I was selling mattresses at Art Van Furniture. I was doing mattress sales at a Pure Sleep store. So it's just like a dedicated mattress only store, and there's just one person in the shop at all times. So you'd be working 12-hour days and there's not 100 people coming in to buy a mattress all day. So, most of my time there was spent painting. In the back room, I'd have like my Art Van get up on, like the nice clothes, the shoes and stuff, and I'd have an apron on, and then you hear the ding, someone then, you shake off all the aprons and the paint stuff, and then you go try to sell a mattress. But like most of my days, I painted all day in the back room, and they went south. Like they went out of business during COVID, and I was like, well, I got unemployment money. I mean, from this, and the world's shut down, and might as well like give this a shot. Because like back then it was so like uncertain how the world was going to look even in like a couple months. It's like, I mean, this could all be it, you know, like I gotta try, you know. And then the other thought was like, well, if I fail, then I already don't have a job, like no big deal, like so I just went full time then, and you know, it's been crazy ever since.
I just met somebody who is putting together a film. He's looking for artists to interview. I just sent him an email saying, yes, count me in. I'll share his info with you. So it's like during COVID, so many artists, like there was a cartoon somebody made. They showed an artist at an easel, an artist before COVID, same picture, same artist at the same easels, artist during COVID, artist after COVID. Like as an artist, we're just like busy in our studios doing our thing, right?
Oh yeah.
But there's some interesting turnabouts in terms of like thinking about what you want for yourself in life during the whole COVID period. So if this is what blossomed during that time, I would say job well done.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. I will say that my work during COVID was much different than it is now. It's evolved so much since then.
Sure.
But yeah, it's definitely like without that time, I don't know if I would be. It was a great base for me to build off of and then jump off of that. So,
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Am I leaving out anything?
I don't know. I don't know.
Anybody have questions? Yes, questions.
For your mural work, how often do you get commissioned, or is it always your own ideas?
Is it how often I commission?
Like the building that you're painting on, are they commissioning you to paint something specific, or do you kind of have full reign to do it? You know.
Yeah, a little bit of all that stuff. When I first started out, you know, like in the artist community, there is a big stink about painting a mural or doing any kind of art, honestly, for minimal or no compensation or commission. And I definitely side on that. I'm on that side of the fence for sure. I definitely think artists should be paid for the work that they create, but I do think that there is value for certain opportunities that don't pay for artists like me back in 2020, 2019, 2017 with no experience, with no murals under my belt, because it's kind of like one of those catch-22s in a lot of industries. They're not going to give you a mural to paint until you've already painted one. So I think these exposure opportunities or these no-paying opportunities, I think there is a place for them within the mural world. I think they need to be curated and organized a little bit better. But when I first started out, most of my work was unpaid, just on my own dime, just kind of doing it myself, figuring everything out. And now I would say throughout the whole year, I probably do 1 to 2 unpaid murals, but there's a gain in some way. Like for example, one of them would be in Miami for Art Basel. It's like a really big gathering, really networking event. The other one, Bushwick in Brooklyn, it's the same thing. Really big marketing event.
Yeah.
So aside from that, it's almost always paid. Because I gotta pay my bills. So
For those 2 events, also the energy of being there, doing all of that, gives you.
Yeah.
You know, that's like
It's
mana. You know.
It's a very humbling experience.
Yeah.
Because like I stay here in Michigan and I paint, you know, and it's really hard not to. The people are, oh, it's so great, it's so beautiful, blah blah blah. People always give you so much praise, and it's hard to just kind of keep your head squared on tight. But then I go out to these big events across the world or the country, and I'm just surrounded by artists who are, in my eyes, just years ahead of me and so much better than me, and just like doing crazy stuff. And it's just like, wow, you guys are so awesome. And it just like kind of shrinks my head, which I need it just to kind of balance me out. And it's a nice like kind of back and forth, staying at home, just like kind of building your confidence, like, you know, feeling like you're actually doing something, feeling like you're actually like saying something or just making movement or something, and then going out on the road and just being reminded you're not that special. Maybe special is not the word, we're all special, but like just being reminded that you have so much more you can do to grow. You have so much more areas that you can just kind of spread out in, and it's a really good way to balance
That's
myself.
the piece I would think. I mean, especially if you're watching other muralists who have methods and techniques and ideas and patterns of how they do it that you've not yet seen, or you've not seen it enough. I think of that as like eye candy. And it's like feeds your creative process because you go home with that energy.
Mhm.
That's yours.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it's going to show up in your work.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, most 100% yes, and it's like one of those things. It's a residual effect as well. You know, there's like an initial, like, oh, this is inspiration. This is crazy. This was inspiring. This was a great choice to come out to this event. But I think there's stuff that you kind of have to stew in, ideas that you've seen throughout that week, the whatever event, that kind of have to ruminate in your head for a while.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I think it affects my art practice for years even after that, because like there's stuff that I just like think about. I'm like, wow, how did that? I have no idea how that artist did that. I'll never figure that one out. That person's an alien. I don't even understand what they're doing. And then a year goes on, and I'm like, wait, that's how that person did that. Oh, I realize now I'm gonna try it in my practice. I think I have to stew on stuff for a little bit.
Yeah. So that's what I mean. Like you see it, you experience it, and like you said, like the gut works faster than the brain, and then it stays with you. The stuff that impresses you. It's like you don't realize, like when you're sleeping, you're working on solving that,
Mm-hmm.
and it like pops in. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's one of the most amazing parts of the creative process, is like those little bubbles of energy that like came from outside that you end up making your own, and it's like something clicks and you're just eons ahead of where you were had you not seen all that. Yeah. That is so cool. Yeah. This has been great. Every one of these talks is always very different. Never know where it's going to go. What other questions might other people have?
Yeah.
Can we talk about your book? Yeah. We just got it at the opening. We both read it cover to cover. And my thought, and I think Phil agrees, is in Michigan, I'm not going to Taiwan, but in Michigan, trying to see, I know some of your murals are no longer there because the building may have come down, or somebody painted over it. Well, we're going to try and go to the ones that are in the book.
Nice.
And see them in person.
There's one right up the road. We can start at
Right
9
up the
Mile
road.
and Jenner.
Yeah.
That's a library.
Yeah.
Do you have any social media?
Do I have any social?
Are you on social
Oh,
media? Yeah. Take some pictures and tag him.
Oh, yes, okay.
Sure. Yeah. No. So you send me whatever. I'd love to see it.
Yeah.
That's cool. Thanks for doing that.
Are you planning another book?
I don't know. I gotta paint. I guess I'm gonna have to paint a bunch more murals to fill that book in.
But those are about your murals. What about your other?
Yeah. I guess you're right. There's still other stuff I can document. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, the story behind it's very interesting.
Yeah, cool. That's good. I'm glad you enjoy that. Maybe there's a canvas book in the future or something. Who knows?
Yeah.
You can document the shoes too. Cool.
I kind of want to see like some of the shoes show up in some of your paintings.
Yeah.
Like as little secrets to let people kind of like notice, like, wait a minute, is that? Because like the people, so I don't know the people, so I can't look and say like, oh, isn't that so and so?
Yeah.
But hearing you tell the story, that there's people who are in your life who are also in your work, I think that's a lot of fun.
So much fun.
Expanding on the storytelling of it. I do notice that there's some drawings that you have in the show also. Are those older works or are they current works?
Majority of it. So like when I do like a big trip or something, I generally kind of keep like an emotional support sketchbook on hand at all times, just to kind of like, if I see something, like I gotta draw it. And this was basically almost all Taiwan. I did keep the sketchbook while I was in like Quebec and different parts in Canada, but it's mainly all Taiwan, a little bit of Japan. And this is just stuff that I saw like on my trip, and I was like, wow, this is really cool. And some of it's like from a photo. A lot of the drawings are mainly just I would sit in a spot for a few hours and then draw it. This was the first time I've ever tried that. Like, I've never really considered myself a great drawing artist. Like, my drawing skills are always kind of lacking. And these sketches really helped me. There's probably like 20 or 30 of them before these ones that just like was like bad, okay, it got better. But yeah, this is all just like stuff I encountered when we were in Asia for a while. Stuff that's really cool in my eyes, or just is really pretty, I guess.
What's really funny is when you're painting, you're drawing, you're drawing with paint.
Yeah, I guess
You know,
you're right.
so, but like you said, you're not comfortable with your drawings that you do, that they're not up to what you want them to be.
They're adequate for my purposes. My cartoons are just the little stuff I print out myself for fun.
For fun,
With a
yeah.
group of cartoonists I know, and we just have fun with it. We don't aspire to.
Well, you don't have to. I mean, doing it for yourself for fun is 100% valid. Doing it this way is hard. You know, when you're doing it and putting yourself out there full time, it's harder. So I applaud you for keeping it pleasurable. But I was just going to throw in that, you know, because you commented on it, and I don't know if you're being modest. If I saw them, I'd probably love them. But the finding is in the doing. So if it's something you enjoy and you want to get better at it, just knock out 100 of them. You'll get better.
Mm-hmm.
That's how it happens.
Yeah, that's what I do. Yeah.
Yeah, just do them. So.
When you said just do them, I heard just doom. That's my cartoonist.
Yeah, I was about to say that's the cartoon, right?
That's your cartoon?
That's my cartoony thinking.
Fair. Any other questions or comments? Anything that you would ask if you weren't shy? Yes? No? We're good? We're good.
Cool.
Thank you.
Good.
Thank you both to Cheryl and Zach. Just a reminder, Zach's show runs until May 3rd. If we look at the sign. It's a Sunday, and we will be open from 1 to 4 that day. So, okay.